Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders. It's Samurai Trade here. Welcome to session 157, how to day trade any market with Renko charts. Traders, I call this a $1,000 a day challenge, but depending on your target, some traders of course happy with just a few hundred a day, others want thousands a day. So you just need to increase your position size naturally, I should really say. And this is session 157. For some reason I just couldn't get my camera to get going, so you don't get to see my pretty face except on the screenshot just here. And I was just doing some live trading, and I just want to show you this very quickly because I'm going to be playing back a recording of a prior session from a few days ago, so I'll play that back, and I just want to show you here. So it's Thursday, April the 2nd. Where are you? Just back here. I've just fired off 3 trades for 3 wins. Actually, I was kicking myself that I didn't take this trade. This is called a double divergence, but I didn't take this, and this is also called an overlay chart. An overlay chart, traders, is where I've got some indicators here from a higher time frame overlaid on my trading chart, and you may see the arrows. That can be a really good indication of a change in trend direction, but that's beyond the scope of this video. Now what you'll see consistently with my videos is I have a target of 325 days 325 a day per contract traded, and I trade generally 10 lots, just depending on the time frame that I'm trading. Now at the moment I'm trading in today's session, the recorded session I'll play back, and in this session I was trading a 2-tick Renko chart. Now with the 2-tick Renko chart, sorry about that beep just then, turning the air conditioner off. It's not always tradable. That is, we had President Trump speak a few hours ago, and the market went crazy for a few hours. And so what is very, very important, traders, is that you apply patience. You wait for the market to slow down, or you increase the time frame that you're trading, because it's, so many traders suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's just a fatal mistake for traders where they just don't sit back and they just don't trade the right time frame, or they're trading way above their money management rules. In other words, and sorry about this, all my videos, by the way, are raw, real and unedited, so I don't run to a script. In other words, I don't risk any more than 1% per trade personally. Now that allows me to add to a position. However, if you're trading, as most of my traders do, with a 2% risk, that's the maximum. And if you don't stay within your money management rules, guess what? You're going to blow your account. And this is where, by the way, a lot of traders will switch off. They don't want to hear this, and they wonder why they never succeed. So this is where we are right now with this market. And by the way, it's now 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're a new trader and unaware of this, the market's actually open at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then they roll through for 23 hours and then close at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now during the after hours market, it's called the Globex session. The market's a lot, you don't have the volume. You certainly of recent times get the volatility, but it can be a great time to trade because the markets are generally a lot slower. So I really recommend, traders, that you consider keeping your job if you're still working, trading after hours, because there can be some great trades. Okay, so in today's session I'm going to be playing back a video where I'm trading the Renko charts. Now I haven't seen this video, haven't played it back, so it's a bit sketchy for me. It's from a number of days ago now, and traders, let me me tell you, as a day trader, I couldn't tell you about the trade yesterday unless I play back the recording. So what I do know is there were 3 trades for 2 wins and 1 break even. As always, I do need to pull up a disclaimer. There is a risk in trading. Please don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Very quick advertisement. I'll be quick with this. Traders, the truth about day trading, I just see a couple of things are out of balance here, but not to worry. If you haven't already requested or downloaded my ebook, please do below. You can click on the description link below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can be kept up to date with all of my videos. Better still, become a member. Stay with me, I'll be quick. For $297 you get all of my indicators. The members area, as I'm about to show you, would probably be one of the most comprehensive, if not the most comprehensive, members areas for scalpers and day traders. Everything from time frames through to dozens. There's literally over 200 hours of recorded sessions, and the good news is you don't have to watch them all. Okay, that is, I really get you on the right track. That is, I trade over 15 different setups. However, you only need to trade 2 or 3 of them, and I do show you in my welcome email which of the welcome video, which are the best strategies to start with, etc. And I've also got a bonus going at the moment, traders, and that was way down here where for 290 within the 297, I also give you 8 live recorded sessions. In other words, you can attend for live sessions. That is every Tuesday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I run 2-hour sessions for my traders, where I'm going through the A to Z of scalping and day trading the markets, going through trades of a day, where to enter, where to exit, etc. All included in that 297. After month 1, you can drop me an email if you wish to continue, but that's totally optional for you. And so that's a bonus within the 297. You can join using the description link below. Now let me get back to where I should have been covering this beforehand. Never mind, or after I gave the little advertisement. Let me now settle down. By the way, it's Thursday night before the Christmas break, the Easter break here down under. So we've just had friends arrive, and I said, look, give me 30 minutes, I've got to record this. So if I'm rushing, you'll have to forgive me. Okay, let's settle down, Ray. Okay, I'm settling down. Traders, there's a whole range of different types of chart types that we can use: time, tick, volume, range, Renko, 𝗧𝗿𝗺𝗺𝗺𝗺, or 𝗧𝗿, which is a combination of 𝗧𝗿𝗺𝗺𝗺𝗺 and Renko. I usually will trade nowadays using Renko and tick charts, and Renko by far is my chart of choice for new traders or those that are not yet making money consistently. And so you can, however, apply my strategies to any market and any time frame and any chart type. Now what is also, which I didn't mention, is that I don't have all of my indicators coded for every trading platform. For TradeStation and NinjaTrader 8 I do, but what I do give you is my settings of all of my indicators, so you can customize on any good trading platform. You can replicate exactly what I do. So I just wanted to mention that is important. So in today's session, we're going to be looking at 3 trades. I'll play them back, and it was actually a bit messy here on a couple of these, and I'll play it back on the live session and explain these to you. So we had one trade off to the left there, you can't see. I then took another one, and then I took this one, and it's best that we go through, and it still come out okay. And I want you to note this bounce right here. Now I'd already covered there. Now when I say I go to get an exit at break even, that means I've also covered my commissions. Okay, so break even is my entry price plus 1 or 2 ticks. So in this particular case, I said I'm glad to be out. So I picked up one tick on 10 contracts, and then finally we got there. However, as I did today, I'll quite often, because my target is 32.50 a day, you'll sometimes see me then, I'll stuff it, I'm going to get out of this if it's not moving quick enough, if it means I can exit. And I did exactly the same here today. That is, and I won't play back this recording, I'll record this in the near future. By the way, I've got dozens of videos, I just haven't had a chance to record yet. But I ended up moving my stop and getting out, and got out at 32.69, so just above my target. And gross, whenever you see gross, that's before the commissions. Okay, so that was today's price, so today's session, which I just showed you. Now, and the reason I showed you that, it's no fluke in the setups. Oh, and remember that bounce I showed you against that black line? Look, here is one today. It is a little secret what it is, because it does kick butt big time. It's what I call a T12. Members watching this, you know what that is, and they kick butt big time. So anyway, let's now drill down on this. And one thing I didn't say is that I also run a live trading room, and I've got 294 members registered. This is April, by the way, 2026. And in my coaching room, which is the one which you can access free of charge for your first month, I've got 315 traders from all around the world registered for that. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've been day trading now for 28 years. Why do I tell you this? Because I've got tens of thousands of hours of trading experience. What does that mean to you? If there's something better, I'll tell you about it, because I don't sell indicators. I give my indicators away. And so for years now, I've been running these monthly trading sessions. And if I was to click on one of these, this is a screenshot, you'd see that within the monthly sessions is handouts and PowerPoints, etc., etc. All right, but let's now get into this. I think it's also very important, traders, that you know my philosophy when it comes to trading. And you'll notice usually I'm not going for home runs. I just want to get in, get out, get paid. And this great movie from back in 2011, Moneyball, really says it all. In the movie itself, he'd say to his players, by the way, watch the movie, it's great, don't go for the home run, just get on base. And that's very much what I'm doing, is I just get on base. That is, I've got usually a set target depending on the volatility of the market, anywhere from 4 to 6 ticks up to 10 to 12 ticks per contract in a move. So let's have a look at this first of all. And so I want you to stay with me, because you've got to have a clear-cut plan. This is a business, a serious business. Yes, it offers unlimited financial gain for those that really want to throw themselves in to this, but you've got to approach it as a business. So to trade correctly, that is to stay within a 2% money management rule, you need $6,250 on the big contract. Now your broker will say you only need 500 to 1,000, and I know what some of you are saying, oh, stuff that, you know I can day trade with 1,000. Yes, but what if your risk is $100 to $125? That is 8 to 10 ticks. That's where you're going to blow your account pretty quick, smart. You're risking 10 to 12.5%. It's so important that you follow your money management rules, and if you do, and I've got a quote you'll hear me use regularly, get rich slowly. Forget getting rich quickly. It rarely happens, but you can get rich over a year. And so let's just say here you don't have the 6,250, and you know what, I shouldn't even in a way be showing you this, but if I'm not, I'm misleading you on the true facts of scalping and day trading. If you start with 625, or like dozens of my members are trading now with prop firms, they don't have to actually, that's 32 a day we're after, not 30 a day. You can trade someone else's money and get underway for a couple of $100. But just if you started with 625 and go for just 32 a day, that's 26 ticks a day. Okay, and 32 within 32 a day, and within 12 weeks you got a 1,500 a week potential income legally. I've got to say potentially, and your account is now 7,400. You've now got the funds to roll over and start trading the big contract. Now let's talk reality here. Going for 3 or 4 8-tick trades a day net a day is extremely realistic. Young guns, you're going to want to go probably for a lot more, and I'll show you another slide on that in a moment. For us old dogs, I'm 66. I want a stress-free life as much as possible. I have 14 grandchildren and a great grandson, so I don't know about the stress-free, but anyway, only joking. I love my grandkids and my kids of course, but here realistically this is all you need, and that's 380. You want 325 within 10 weeks. You've got a 10 grand a week income, and your capital's 48,000, up from 66,250. Within 13 weeks you've got the potential of earning over 20,000 a week. Now, unlike some of these BS compound tables I see advertised or in YouTube videos or on in Google, traders, you only start trading a second contract every time you double your money. So we're talking about a realistic, achievable trading plan here. And for the young guns watching, and even if I've got a really good day, I might keep trading. Look where you are in 6 weeks, 12 grand a week income, 8 weeks, 25 grand a week. This is the true potential. Now what I'm going to do now is show you how do you realistically achieve these targets as a brand new trader, or perhaps trading's just not working out for you. I'm about to show you that and explain it in the recordings. Now first of all, you'll see I look at these levels, and all of these plot automatically, or most of them, or I should say, will plot automatically on your chart if you've got the indicators to do that. And most good trading platforms will allow you to do that. And I'll be looking at these all the time. Why? These act as a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is, as a professional trader, I sell and buy into these levels, and I'll trade off these levels. And it's really straightforward how it works. All it takes is a couple of hours of training, and you go, aha, now I get it. So the question's how am I going to earn that $300 to $500 to $600 a day on the 2-tick? So let's go to the recording here, and let me play this back. Whoops. And 18th, so this is from the 18th of the 3rd. Okay, and so and I just showed you the date, and if you go and look at and watch my videos, you'll just see I've got them. I try to only record 2 or 3 times a week, and I'll usually nowadays show the current day as well. So there's nothing unusual or extraordinary, and in fact this was a really tough day. So let me get this one underway. So right here, let me just explain. I'll pause this video here. So first of all, we've got to be very, very careful around flat EMAs, major moving averages. Why? They'll act as support, and we nearly always get at least one bounce. Now up here where it says 50%, so that was from the high to the low, that was a 50% retracement. Now I now use Fibonacci more just as a confirmation tool, but it has no real leaning on my trade entries. What I do want you to notice is the white paint bars and the black arrows. Okay, that's 2 separate entry signals. Now that's oversimplifying things in a way, but these plot in real time. So we see the black arrow, that means you're in on the next candle. By the way, I know these are Renko bricks, I just call them candles. Okay, so there's your entries. Now I took this trade because I've made a lower low, and this was a lower high, and I just want you to notice down here, see that blue line? That's called a pivot. Now my target's on the other side of the pivot, which can be problematic quite often. and the reason for that is we quite often find support at pivots. Now what I've done here is increase my target, because we'll quite often break through a pivot and then head down to the next pivot, okay, where you'll go from one pivot to another. So that's what that's why I'll increase that. Now I'll sometimes then actively manage them. That is, if I feel we've stalled, I might then, rather than go for a much larger target, that one there is a good 4 points, by the way, 16 ticks. I might then go for a large, or pull it back and go for a smaller target, sorry. But see, you never know, sometimes it just takes off like a rocket and you can get that much larger target. So this one here I call a 3B, and so obviously I've made a couple of lower lows now, some lower highs, and the market here to me is looking like it's going to fall. Now I'll just move this along a little quicker, and oops, and what happened there? So obviously, so what's happened there, I've popped through, it's pulled back. Now just notice how it popped through there, and now I've gone to break even plus a couple of ticks, which means it is now a no loss trade. Now what I want to point out here is a couple of comments I got there, just trying to remove all of these extra lines I put in. After a consolidation period, which is what we've got right there, bit of a channel, and notice what I'm doing just there, looking for what's below this, is it would quite often break out of consolidation zone and then have a large move. So you want to really watch those because they can be really profitable. Hence I'm going for a large target here. Now where I was scrunching my charts up there is I've got a pivot here and I want to know what's below me, and notice here how it's touched my target. Now I'm filled, and that's what you got to watch. If ever you're doing any back testing, always allow to tick through by one tick. Now there we ended up getting filled, I think, on that second push, but sometimes it'll tag your target and you don't get filled and it bounces, so just be aware of that. So I'm going to move this along. Oops, and that perhaps a little too far, so coming down. So I think I must have paused the video in between. So this is a couple of weeks ago now, so I just all right, so what I've done is here I'd pause the video, then hadn't hit record and realized that, so just there, and I'll just leave that there. So what I've got, let me pause this here, and this is so what I've got here, I've taken a slingshot trade just here, and once again we can see up here my target is 10 ticks, and it's well and truly above, we can see just there, above this yesterday's high. Now once again these plot automatically, okay, but see how we'll quite often bounce. Now there is zone, it's not set in concrete, but sometimes we'll rally up and we'll then get a bit of a bounce or totally rejected. And that's where sometimes for those traders that do like fib levels, that's where sometimes we'll just have a look and see, is that a key fib level or is it from here? And look, it doesn't determine my trade, but it might add 5 to 10%. If you've got a key fib bounce, it just might assist you. So just here I'm long. For members watching, it's a slingshot. Just note your cloud there. It's also a T20-1. Now for those watching this video, you'll see I've got a lot of codes just for different setups. Okay, so here I'm just probably so I'm listing my stop, so it's just one tick below the swing. So I like to generally, unless it's a very volatile market, have my stop one tick below the swing or above the swing. Okay, but I'll maximize my stop at 10 ticks, sometimes 8 ticks, and like there I was able to bring my stop so it's only 9 ticks. Now note here we are at the yesterday's high and I've got some resistance here. Okay, now and sometimes you'll see I'll manage my go to break even manually. I do that more often than not nowadays, and just go by what's happening in the market. But one thing that I always have in place is a stop loss. You never know when it's going to flick back and stop you out that spot. So make sure you stay safe by having in place a stop loss. So let's move this along so you can see my target is up above there. Now this is fairly typical. Now 1 2 3 4 5, now that actually tagged 7 ticks. And the reason I bring that up, sometimes it pays you to take that 6 or 7 and then look for a re-entry. Now what I can see here, and this is my trade line, see that white line? So that's telling me to stay long there. Now it's giving me a bit of a hint that perhaps I need to go short. So see what happens here. So I'm still in the trade, and maybe I'm going to target this because that's, am I getting a bounce? So now what I can see up here also, I've got the current day's high. Now why is it relevant? Because we love to head towards those levels. Okay, finding resistance here. So I did make a high risk trade here because I'm right at this level here. So let me just pull this back. Now here I'm just checking pivot levels. Now that's on my anchor chart, by the way, so you can see that original entry. So and I should just talk about this. What I'm looking for is retracements on a lower time frame, and this is one of the key secrets. And traders wonder, day after day, how do I achieve these results? I don't want to say it's easy, but what I'm looking at is my higher time frame. I have a number of indicators. If I'm using the overlay chart, this one at the moment to the left is not the overlay, but I'm trading in the direction of the higher time frame. I look for a retracement and then a trend continuation. Now this is perhaps a bit of an oversimplification of what I'm looking at, and notice here I've now tagged, I'm not fully filled on all of my contracts yet. Now I'm getting ready now to go to break even, or not break even, but to lock in irrespective, and we ended up getting filled on all of those contracts, but I certainly wasn't going to give that back. So that was 2 out of 2. Let's now go ahead to the next trade. And so you can just see there, by the way, that would have been a really nice little potential. This is also FOMC day, which can mean, that's later in the day, which can mean the markets can give you a bit of grief. Okay, let's talk about this trade. So I've gone short again. Just then I was lowering my stop to 1 tick above. So I've got a fixed 10 tick stop. As I mentioned, I can lower that, but I can't increase it. All right, I see, out of training thousands of traders, the amount of traders that continually blow their accounts by moving their stop loss, hoping the market will what have I done there? So obviously, just here, traders, I was going to wrap the day up. So because I've already typed that in, 2 trades for 2 wins. Okay, so what that means is I've hit my target of 32.50 for the day or more, and then I've decided to take this trade. Now I'm a big one in POQ, power of quitting. Just remember that, POQ, power of quitting, meaning you hit your daily target. And I like to finish. There's nothing more frustrating. You've hit your target, you're happy as a pig in mud, and then there's another trade, you take it and you have a loss. Okay, and it tips you below your daily target. Well, that frustrates me anyway, so I prefer just to hit my target. But here I've actually fired off another trade. Now I'm looking down here. Now let me say this is a danger zone. Why? I've got 2 major EMAs a deadpan flat. Your best trading is where you have a fanning of your EMAs. Okay, so here I'm saying I'm not liking this. Okay, is that a spelling error? Doesn't matter if it is. Okay, not liking this. So this had been only taking 5 minutes, so I'd taken the trade. I had a lower low, so here's why I would have taken it: lower low, lower high, but then it's bounced, come up, tested it within a couple of ticks here, and let's see what happens, shall we? Yeah, so lower low, lower high. It's simplifying my entry. Okay, so there it went to break even, and now I'm thinking these flat major EMAs, I call them evil. Okay, so down here I'm probably thinking now, if I can just get out here. Now just note here that I'm actually getting a bit of a trend here, that is, my EMAs are starting to head down. Okay, so here I'm just after a couple of ticks now. I'm thinking if I can get out of this, I'll be happy. Now just there where I've got the comment there, watching the NQ also, now that's the ES there, by the way, is that sometimes the NQ will, it's not always this way, but sometimes the NQ will take off before the ES. It just can be not always, but sometimes a bit of a leading indicator. All right, so just there, it's come down somewhere there, and no matter what happens, glad to be out 1 by 10. So I just got 1 tick on that. And what I mean, no matter what happens, and this is really important, traders, is that you've got to leave your last trade behind, and you're only as good as your last trade, or as bad as your last trade, meaning that now if this goes on to be a great winner, well, so be it. Okay, I perhaps should have been more patient anyway, maybe entered a trade over here when I can see it. I definitely had more of a trend kicking in, but you've got to just let it go and move on. Now I quite often, you'll hear me talking about what I call black box thinking. Black box thinking is, okay, what can I learn from this trade, the good and the bad? That's what we got to be doing. What on earth am I doing there? Am I going to sell again? Why? I've already hit my target there, so good, I'm glad I've stopped there. And it can be a temptation sometimes. Stay flat. Okay, I was thinking, why in hell am I doing that? Sometimes though, trading, you want to keep going. So traders, that was another really good session, as most sessions are, but I'm a pattern-based trader. All of my setups are based on patterns, and they're rules-based. And what does that mean? Anyone can learn them. You can learn the rules, and you can just start with just a couple of setups, which is what I recommend, and you build from there. In fact, as 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗃𝗺 says, some of the best traders she knows of specialize in just 1 or 2 setups on one market, and that's all they trade. So traders, come and join me as a member. $297. You get the lifetime access, and I don't know if I said that, lifetime access. You also have 1 month, which includes comprehensive downloadable handouts and PowerPoints, where I'm teaching you step by step, and you can type in questions, and also you can email me questions, which I'll cover in the sessions. And if you can't make the live sessions, you've got lifetime access to the recorded sessions. So come and join me, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you, traders. See you in one of my sessions and in my next video.